Look, if I was a cereal, I'd be snatch, crackle, and pop. Snatch, crackle, and pop.
Them are unexpected came. That's my house.
I'm gonna go stay with them.
You can't go stay with them.
Yes, I can.
No, Brandon.
I can do whatever I want.
You are not go. I'm not kidding, Brandon. That is enough. That's not gonna be your home anymore. Brandon, что с ними?
Не, он не должен так. Brandon, come back, please.
Be like a good woman, baby. Be a good wife. Your mother of a Trina. I don't want to hear about it again.
Of course not. Of course you don't want to hear about it again. It's like all about you and what you want. You don't want me to tell you. I'm a bad wife if I tell you.
I love you. You know what I mean? And I don't mean to, I didn't mean to hurt you. You think...
What's this?
I'm saying that I really mean it. If you want to hear a story, I'm sorry.
Are you sorry?
I'm sorry again.
Darcey?
Что си боса?
She say, why you so naked? Because you don't have like the...
I know, tights.
Mama, can I be honest with you though? But I don't want to be in the friend zone.
For myself?
And I'm gonna tell Matt that next time I see him. Look at Matt. Oh, I'm Rico Suave. Oh, I have no problem with the women. But Matt is like so short, how is he gonna get a date?
I'm explaining them also I have an issue in myself too.
I'm not saying that.
No, I'm saying also I have issue in myself because also I don't want you crying.
Let me feel, please.
Things are finally moving along in this season, you guys, and it seems like these folks are living out their real life version of who the F did I marry? We have a lot to talk about. Let's get into it. Hi guys, welcome back to Nikki Faces Reality. We are here to discuss 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After, heavy on the question mark. There is always a lot to discuss here in 90 Day Land. Before we get into it, as always, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We're gonna start this off with Jasmine and Gino, just cause you know, I love a little razzle dazzle, a little bit of a hot mess, and why not start with them? So first of all, allegedly, we know that Jasmine and Matt met at the gym and they started their affair at the gym for the longest, and then they took it to the bedroom and they lied to Gino with this open marriage, right? So we're supposed to see them and believe, they want us to believe that they have not expressed feelings for each other, that they have just been straight up banging like barbarics. That is what they want us to believe, okay? Because they're here at this gym. Jasmine is very woe is me. She's giving her best telenovela performance and has now recruited Matt. She's like, oh, I just can't believe what happened last night with Gino. He's such a liar. He lied to both me and Natalie. I'm so embarrassed. So embarrassed, yet you couldn't be woman enough to go out there and apologize to Natalie? Yeah, okay. But she's like, I feel humiliated, but last night made it clear that I cannot be with Gino. We are just too far gone. I could have told you that before you got married, but here we are. She's decided that no more, right? And she's distraught. Meanwhile, the whole time, her and Matt are exchanging eye-banging looks at each other at this gym, okay? Matt takes this opportunity to shit-talk Gino. The way that he age-shames Gino is a little weird. And again, it really throws me off because he talks like Gino did him dirty when it's the other way around. You know what I mean? Like he keeps saying things like, oh yeah, Gino should know better. He's at the end of his life. And it's really weird. Jasmine, all she does is laugh when that happens. And I'm like, but the kicker is that Jasmine is like, I don't know, maybe I should go back to Panama. You and I both know that she's not gonna go. Doesn't this lady have her papers present day? Why hasn't she gone to visit her kids? We're supposed to believe that she's gonna go back to Panama for good when she won't even go back to visit her kids? But she's here like, maybe I should go. And Matt is like, no, I don't want you to go. I will do whatever it takes to help you. And so this is the part where Matt plays his part in the telenovela. And he's like, Jasmine, you know, I've been feeling this for some months and I have feelings for you. I don't want to say it first, but F it. I love you and I want to be with you. I want you to give me a chance now that you're done with Gino. We're supposed to believe that this is the first time they've had this conversation, huh? Do I look like I was born yesterday? Jasmine is smiling, beaming, being like, I knew it. And she tells us in her confessional that she's known for months that he's in love with her. That she even told him, don't fall in love with me. I'm not available.
So many times I told him, please don't fall in love with me. And he was like, oh, I'm a playboy. It's okay for me. And now look at him. Oh, he's in love.
But if you knew that he was in love with you for some time and you accepted all of the things that he did for you, wasn't that in itself breaking the rules long before Gino kicked you out?
I knew it. I could feel it in the way he talks to me, the way he treats me, things he does for me. You only do this kind of stuff for someone that you love more than as a friend, a roommate, or a buddy, whatever you want to label it. It was never my plan.
Everything that she says about this situation is so incriminating. And I want her to be happy. And if that means being far away from Gino, then so be it. I think I get at Jasmine because of the constant lying. Own your shit. You met Matt. You thought that he was hot. It was just a bang situation. And early on, you figured out he's treating me better than my husband. Own it. But this constant lying of being like, I'm not available. He's just my friend. But then you're here letting us know that you've been known, that you're getting all of the privileges of someone that is in love with you. And you're very much acting out like you're in a relationship already. But then you want to play around and say you're roomies. Like, the lies. She can't keep up with them. And I think they have so much chemistry to a fault, right? Because the writings are on the wall. Like, you can't hide that you guys have never just been friends. And I think that I'm very annoyed at this like act that she has going on of being emotionally unavailable. And it's like, girl, if you were emotionally unavailable for real, you would not be living with Matthew. You would be living with Dana and Michelle. You are exactly where you want to be. And the fact that she is present day with a whole baby and being like, Matt is just my friend. I will never trust another man. It's just too much. It's just too much. And again, like, I am hard on Jasmine because of the hypocrisy of it all. I'm not hard on her because I want her to be with Gino. I needed them apart years ago. And if you're going to be happy, but you cannot have your cake and eat it too. You cannot be living with Matt and causing a scene and borderline assaulting Natalie. Like, that was a mess. But then that's it with Jasmine. Then we go over at Gino, and Gino, he really believes that he has been done dirty. He really believes that everyone is at fault except him. He's on his way to meet up with Natalie. He got her to agree to meet up. And he's just like, Jasmine, Michelle, and Dana, they've just ruined that. They attacked me and Natalie, and she just didn't deserve it. You also missed the part that you didn't equip Natalie with all of the information. You didn't tell her that you were considering revisiting things with Jasmine. You didn't tell her that you met up with Jasmine a second time. You left her in the dark in that, and so now she's cornered and having to defend herself. And that's not a fun place to be, especially when you are not in your own turf. So he pulls up to Natalie. Natalie is packing her bags. I respect her, okay? She's like, I'll hear you out, but I'm taking my ass back home. And she lets us know that she felt extremely disrespected and she felt like she was on her own. She had to stand up for Gino, but Gino didn't stand up for her. So he's here like apologetic about the fact that she didn't really get to know his family. And she's like, I advocated for clarity from you, for closure for you and Jasmine, and you deceived me. And he keeps saying that no, that he didn't deceive her, that other people may think that, but that's not what he believes he did. Gino, facts are facts. You left information out. Omitting information, for me, is the equivalent of lying. It's the equivalent of lying to Natalie. That is what matters. Screw your intentions. The outcome was that she was cornered because of your omission. So I think Natalie mentioned something like, Jasmine even said it, that you had things open, and Matt like affirmed it. That sets Gino off. He goes on a spiral about Matt, calling him ugly again, calling him short, calling him goofy, like just all of the things which I agree. However, you came here to fix things with Natalie. That has nothing to do with Natalie. And Natalie is looking at him like, are you well? She's like, you know what? That has nothing to do with me. I think that I have things clear now for myself. You are clearly not ready to move on, and I want no parts of this. And she gathers her things. She walks out. He's calling out for her. She's like, I I'm deaf to this bullshit. Like, I'm out of here. And he's seated there in the lobby of her hotel, still not grasping how he played a part in this. You need to get closure before you start opening more chapters. And that's where we leave them. We're going to move on quickly to Kara and Guillermo. So we see Kara with her mama and her baby Nico. They are going to take her to the airport because, as you guys recall, Kara is going to go to Italy to work with a high profile producer. And this is a big deal because she wants to work on her album. Y'all, I understand Kara is not the most likable person. I think that her attitude may just not, mesh with people. But I just don't appreciate some of the narratives that I'm seeing on the internet of like the shaming of it. Just because she's not posting her kid all the time does not mean she's not a good mom. The way that people are like policing her sensuality or her expression of her sensuality, it's just like, come on, you guys. We're in 2025. It's okay if it's not for you, but to tear someone down over it, come on. I think that she's in a position that is really lucky. She has a village that can support her in taking care of her kid while she also goes after her dreams that in the long run is going to benefit her child. So I just, we can disagree on that. It's not like she's leaving her kid abandoned. She is making sure that all of his needs are met. She seems really like type A when it comes to organization. So I have a strong belief that he's taken care of. And her mom is asking her, have you communicated with Guillermo? They have not talked much after he didn't show up to her show. It sounds like they're communicating through a Google Doc. Again, that Google Doc has all of the places where Nico will be. She's the type of mom that signs him up for classes, has childcare already taken care of. Like, she's really involved. I think that people get it a little twisted because of her Instagram feed, but nowadays, Instagram feeds are more of a promotion tool. So they haven't talked much. She's spiraling, but she's in denial about where they stand. She also feels, a bit of guilt because he came here on the K1 visa. His family isn't here. His family is mostly in Venezuela. So she feels guilt about the possibility of them not being together. But the mom assures her that she loves him deeply and that he is also her family. But at the same time, the mom is seeing how bad things are between them. And she's like, I think that you should start looking at a lawyer. But Kara doesn't really want to accept that they are at the divorce part. She's like, don't talk about it like it's already over. Like, I just don't know, We see Guillermo. He's also at the place. I think they both are, that they want to be together, but they don't want to do the work that it takes to be together because they're just exhausted. And that's a very real thing. You can get burnt out in a relationship. But this conversation made me feel really bad because breakups suck. And I think they suck even more when you've planned your life around someone, right? And you have a baby with them. He's here by himself in this rental. He calls his mom and he's pretending that everything's okay. And his mom is like, you're my son. I know you. What's up? And he tells her, like, I feel like my life is in limbo. I don't know if we're going to stay together. And the mom has a lot of faith that, like, you can make anything work. And she's here giving him ideas. Like, if you are in love with her, make it work. Maybe have a one-on-one date. Just do something that reminds you guys of your love. And I just think that these two have so much resentment. I think that she has resentment because he's not a go-getter. I feel like she resents the fact that even when he has ideas and she helps set them in motion, he never follows through. So I think she doesn't see him as a dependable person. And because she's done supporting these dreams, now with his latest dream of being a pilot, he feels like she's not supportive. And he also feels like she's going down a path that he doesn't support because he doesn't want her to be an artist. He doesn't want her, to present herself into the world in a certain way. And that is within his rights, but it is also within her rights to be like, then I think that we've reached an impasse. So it's hard. And I think that's also like the hard part of falling in love with someone when you're really young. You're bound to evolve. And that's the sucky part, that sometimes the people that you evolve into are no longer compatible. And that's really sucky because you don't stop loving each other. It's just, it doesn't align. So that's them. Let's move on to Darcey&Giorgi. It is finally the morning to meet his family. All the roads led here. And, you know, she did so good in the way that she dressed for his sister, so I had high hopes of what she would wear today. She's trying on clothes. Giorgi is irritable, but I think he's irritable because he's in his own head. He hasn't seen his parents in 13 years. I think he's nervous. I think he's excited. His inner child is probably scared of being judged. There's a lot happening. And then you have this little voice on the side constantly being like, should I wear this? Should I wear this? What do you think, Giorgi? What do you think? How are you feeling? Like, it's just a lot. So first, she had this like blazer dress without anything under. So it was giving sexy red carpet. It was not giving what I needed to give. So immediately, Giorgi's like, you never listen to me. I'm so done with this, right? She goes in and tries on this different outfit. So she tries on this outfit, which I think is great. It looks very similar to the one that she wore for his sister. Everything's covered. He's like, great, it's appropriate, it works. She's looking at herself and she's making all of these excuses as to why it could not work. Oh, well, you know, when I got it, I was a bit bigger. I've lost some weight. It doesn't fit how I like it. So she's making all these excuses. She's looking at herself and she's like, you know what? Let me try on the other one again. And this time she puts on like a black turtleneck situation, little black shorts, and then the black blazer dress. However, that is very tight on the body and she's showing all types of leg. And she's like, oh yeah, this looks good. This looks snatched. Giorgi, who's at his 13 freezing, is like, yeah, because my family, you know, that's what they want from me. Someone that's snatched. And she's here making up songs and she's giddy. And you know when you're nervous and you are literally like shaking like under your skin and like everything is irritable? That would set me off. I don't know how to explain it to you guys. Maybe I'm just as grumpy as Giorgi, but there is nothing more annoying than someone fidgeting and making all these unnecessary sounds when you are spiraling. And Darcey cannot read his body language. She cannot read that like, he needs a minute and this is not about you. Even though you didn't hear a thing that he said about the wardrobe, right? They pull up to his house. Like, okay, the moment has come. Giorgi's homecoming. They get out of the car. Darcey's button snapped. This is the only thing holding it together that's hiding her bare legs because she didn't even bring pantyhose. So she's like, oh no. And Giorgi's like, what the fuck? So she's like, you know what? It's fine. I'm going to just wear my coat over it. She brings out this big old white coat, this fur coat. And he's like, so you're going to be holding the coat the whole time? Like you have nothing under? Like she's stressing him out. I felt really bad. I think that he was being Mr. Grumpy, but he's allowed to be Mr. Grumpy on a day that's high stakes for him. That he has warned her, that he has prepared her for. And she's acting like she's never left her house before. And Darcey's favorite word this season is demure. After that TikTok. So she's like, I know how to compose myself. I'm not going to be awkward. I'm very demure. I'm very snatched. And he's like... So they pull up to the house. His mom comes out. His dad comes out. His mom is sobbing. So is he. Giorgi is his father's twin. They have the same face and same mannerisms. And the mom is hugging both of them. And at one point, they're all having like a group hug. It was so sweet. They go inside the house. They get a tour. Immediately, the mama is like, Darcey's not dressed for the season. She peeped the bare legs immediately. And it comes up again when they're by the couch and they're looking at old pictures of Giorgi. And her legs come out. And the mom is like, Darcey, your legs are bare. But she's not saying it in a way like she's inappropriate. It's more like it's cold out. And she says this just like a statement. And Darcey's like, Giorgi, please tell her that my button snapped. Like, that's why I'm with my coat. And Giorgi tells the mom, and the mom is like, oh, I'll sew it for you. Not a problem. But Giorgi is now spiraling at this comment. And he's like, see, like, I told you, now we're all uncomfortable because you now are not dressed appropriately.
She say, why you so naked? Because you don't have like the...
I know, tights. I forgot them. The black dress underneath that's supposed to cover the shorts, the jacket broke. Can you explain that?
And I'm like, Giorgi, you're making it hot right now. Like, it was fine. Your mom just made a statement. She's gonna fix the problem. Relax. It's fine. But he is just like pissy because he's like, I told you. And Darcey's just trying to like smile through it. But now she's in her head because she's like, uh-oh, I can feel everyone's disapproval. There's a moment that we see Giorgi with his dad just one-on-one. And he mentions something like, what do you think about Darcey? What do you think about her age? He mentions that she's, you know, reaching menopause and that it's unpleasant. And I'm like, that's not nice. You chose this woman and you want your parents to have a good impression, don't you? Why would you say that? I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. And we see Darcey with his mom while the mom is like sewing the button and she gets her little handy dandy translator and she's like, and she asks the mom, oh, how do you feel about Giorgi being with an American? And the mom is like, that never mattered to us. I just care that he's happy. And he has told me, you know, some of the things that have happened between y'all in the past. So Giorgi lied. He's definitely been telling the fam all of the details. And Darcey's like, yeah, you know, I just feel like sometimes he's so closed off. Communication is an issue. And the mom is like, okay, don't worry. I will talk to him about it. So now they're at the dinner table and the mom wastes no time in being like, oh, Darcey and I spoke about, you know, how you're very impatient and you're very stubborn. And she basically has Darcey's back. Like, he needs to communicate more. He needs to work for his marriage. And Giorgi's like, yeah, I know, we have to work on it. Like, he looks so annoyed because he's like, why would she bring this up? And I agree. This is the first time you're meeting in person. This is his homecoming. Could this not have waited till like the second day that you were here? I get it that the mom kind of like gave her the opening, but Darcey, you gotta be a team player. Both of them are failing at this because Giorgi started it when they got to the living room, right? But now the mom is, you know, telling Giorgi that he needs to be more patient. And he's like, yeah, I know. Darcey starts crying. And Giorgi's like, why are you crying? Like, please don't cry. And she's like, let me express myself the way that I need to express myself. And I am all for people crying. I am the biggest crier you will meet. I am. I cry at commercials. I cry when I'm happy. I cry when I'm sad. I cry when I'm PMSing. Like, I just cry. But I can excuse myself out of a room. I can go to the bathroom. I'm very confused at people that are so stubbornly together when they're so different. They both can't see how they both need to bend, right? Like, Darcey really needs him to be softer, but he also needs her to not go from 0 to 100 every time. And this was a moment where he needed her to have her shit together and to not make it about herself. And she wasted no time in doing so. And I think that that's disappointing. She's crying. He looks uncomfortable. Now the parents are having to do like this therapy session for them. And the mom is like, as a host, I want to make sure that everything's okay. And this scene is very worrisome. So yeah, tragic. Okay, up next is Libby&Andrei. So it's been a week since the debacle where she realized that he lost 75K. So she's been home, she's been stewing, she's been taking care of her kids, she's been taking care of her house. Andrei pulls up with sorry flowers, which are the most pitiful flowers. But even though he's coming with apology flowers, he's failing to say the words. So he gives her the flowers and she's like, what are these for? And he's like, what's the problem? You know what the problem is, sir. And she's like, did you get our money back? And I love that. Straight to the point. He says no, that now he's working with a lawyer and that's going to cost more money, you know, get that solved. She's like, okay. And so he's like, yeah, you know, I just want to get, you know, affairs and orders so that we can go back to living there. And she's like, we're not going to live there. I'm not living there. I don't want my kids to live there. He's like, no, yes, we are. Yes, we are. And we're going to sell this house. And she's like, no, we're not selling it. I live here. He's like, well, I own half of it.
I still want to move there. We're going to make it happen.
I don't want to move there.
But this is my family, Elizabeth. You're my family.
And so your family is saying that they don't want to move to Moldova. I like our house. Our house is nice.
No, we're selling this house.
This is our home.
This is half of my house.
You're seriously going to come in with an attitude like this?
I'm not coming with an attitude.
So let me get this straight. You want to go ahead and like flex your little stick to be like, I own half of it. you own it by name. She still owns the other half. You can't sell without her. So you can go to bat and fight all you want. But I think it is just speaks volumes to who he is that he's willing to even threaten to displace his kids. And she's like, I don't know who you think you are. I don't know who you pretend to be when you're in Moldova, but I need you to take a beat as my husband. I'm not going there. And if you are going to keep moving our money around, just know that I need to be part of business moving forward. You can have the final say in whatever you want, but I need to be in the know of everything. And she's like, but I need to be aware of everything because that is how we're going to get our trust back, basically. And this stupid idiot is like, you know, I never meant to hurt you. I'm sorry if I hurt you. And he does this. And that's how you know that any apology that comes out of his mouth is fake, because he's not grasping how he messed up. He's apologizing to apologize. And somehow this bare minimum act is good enough for Libby. She's here praising the fact that, oh, I know how hard it is for him to apologize. So that was a big deal. You know, you deserve what you get. Speaking of deserving what they get, I feel bad for Tigerlily, and in many ways I don't. We meet up with them after he called her a demon the day before she gives birth to their baby. And she's crying to the producers in her room, being like, he told me that he was okay with all of these things and now keeps moving the goalpost. So she's overwhelmed. She's already nervous about the C-section she has scheduled. The last thing she needs to be doing is mothering her husband. And so he walks in and now has this like nice tone, like, oh baby, like it's fine. Like, you know, if you ever feel pressured by me, just tell me. Be effing for real. And she clocks it. She's like, you keep switching up on me and it's really confusing. And he's like, all you women are the same, which in itself is insulting, but it is especially insulting when your wife is just trying to have a conversation with you. And he's like, you know, I'm the man. I know everything. I can do whatever I want. Can you imagine having this little piece of shit 20-something-year-old tell you that? There's so many things I want to say that I can't. I would want to mop the floor with him. Because how dare you talk to me like that? What he's doing is so intentional, right? He's making her feel crazy by being so hot and cold on this topic. And he's doing this to her at her most vulnerable moment. That is intentional. And she's like, I feel like you're only telling me what I want to hear. And he's like, yeah, I am. And she's like, how can I trust you if you don't tell me like the truth? And he's like, if you mention the trust thing one more time, I'm gonna really make things bad here. That is a threat. That is enough for me to be like, F you, I want nothing to do with you. I don't care that I'm gonna give birth to your baby tomorrow. We are done. Again, another flex of abuse. But it just gets worse, right? And my patience is really tested when Adnan starts talking. One, because his voice irks me, but also the things that he says are just so passive aggressive. And I think he really believes the idiotic things that come out of his mouth. He gets on this bed while she is sobbing and is like, baby, just be a good wife. Be a happy wife. Don't be a small-minded wife. You know, I got you because you're an open thinker. You're not like other women. And she's like, oh, so I'm only a good wife when I don't ask questions? Like, and then he forcefully hugs her and she's reluctant, but she eventually gives in because, hello, this is her child husband and she's about to give birth. Like, she must be feeling insane. But he hugs her and is still like saying backhanded shit. Like, oh, babe, you're not a demon. You're an angel. You're amazing, but you would be perfect if you were Muslim. And then is like laughing as he's telling her that. And she's crying on his chest. And I was just like, this is not okay. And if I were Tigerlily's friend, I would shake her. Wake up. It is never too late to get out of something toxic. And it's only gonna get worse. It's really like a lot. The next day we see them about to go to the hospital and he looks like a clown. He's here dressing up like it's a red carpet and making this about him. And she's here trying to get a hospital bag together. He walks out with a luggage. And she's keeping the mood light and she's laughing at this stupidity. But I think she's laughing because she's like, I need to focus on my delivery. I need to focus on my baby. If I'm relaxed, my baby's relaxed. But I don't know how much she's going to be able to relax when she has Mr. Princess next to her. Like, I just don't think that's possible. So in the car, he's like, oh, I'm praying that Allah blesses you and the baby. And he kept wanting her to repeat this phrase. And she's like, you told me that all I needed to say were these 3-4 words. Is that what you're trying to get me to say? And he says no.
Say, توكلت على Allah and mean it and believe it inside you. Say now and believe it.
You're telling me that I just need to say 4 things and then I become a Muslim? Is this any of those 4 things?
No.
I believe that he's lying, but I don't know for sure. If someone is Muslim in my community or is aware of the Quran, what he told her to say, is that what she needs to say to convert? Please let me know, because I immediately got chills watching that. I was like, oh no. Tigerlily, I don't trust that man. I don't trust that man. But we're going to move on to the final couple, Julia and Brandon. So I have a lot of feelings about this because many things can be true. Does Julia have bratty characteristics? Yes. But also, does Brandon and his parents overstep constantly and push her and put her in situations where the brat comes out? Also, yes. I think that there's a lot of provoking at play, and Julia always comes out looking like the bad guy. So last episode, as you guys recall, Julia was on her way to pick up her parents with Brandon, and Betty called and she specifically told Betty, I want a day with my parents, just relax, and once they're settled in, we will visit you at the farm. We will communicate. She made it clear. There was no confusion as to what she wanted. Betty and her husband showed up to their house, an abusive privilege of their key, because again, she thinks that that house is theirs. She pulls up, she decorates. That in itself is not a problem. You want her parents to feel welcome? Beautiful. Have that token of a surprise and then leave. But no, they appear. Betty looks like she's chugged 2 bottles of wine. Julia calls out the fact that she should have let her know ahead of time. And she basically is like, I should have, but I didn't. Like, she doesn't care.
We couldn't be in DC with you, so we thought this is the next best thing. I'm super tired. It's like, I lose my voice trying to communicate with everybody all day. Enough pushing me for that situation.
I didn't think you'd be upset. I'm sorry, but we wanted to come and surprise you.
When we see them this episode, they brought over barbecue. It's obvious that they are planning to stay a while, and that was not part of the plan. And Julia made it clear that that was not part of the plan. I take offense to people being like, she's so ungrateful. She can't be ungrateful when she told you specifically what her needs were. She did not ask for this. And maybe she would have taken it lighter if they didn't overstep constantly. But because they overstep constantly, this was an attack. This wasn't a nice gesture. And I think what is most disheartening about this is that Brandon, he never takes Julia's side, right? But I'm a big believer in relationships. If I disagree with something that you're doing or something that you said, I will talk it out with you privately. I'm not going to talk about it in public and put you on blast because we're supposed to be a team. And Brandon falls short of this every single time. But I will get to that, right? They're here, they're chugging wine, they brought over a BBQ, so they obviously want to linger. They're talking to her, well, they're trying to talk to her parents, which again is like, now Julia has to be here up translating late at night after she specifically said she wanted to rest. But now she's here having to entertain his parents who are here all the time. But they're here asking about the DC trip. Her dad is like, oh, well, you know, I like to learn about the places that I go to, but I had to educate Brandon on it. And he's like, you know, laughing about it. Julia is pissed, right? Because this is an overstep of her boundaries. And she's especially pissed. If you remember, the last time her and Betty saw each other, Betty shooed her in her own house. So Julia's like, so not only did you go against my wishes, you do that after you do that to me.
In a good spirit, trying to do something nice.
Yeah, we should normally talking about before we do something.
I have a problem with you guys just showing up spontaneously. And Betty's like, yeah, I know it's your house. And Ron, I think that's his name, Brandon's dad, is like, wait a minute, you should be grateful that, we threw you a party. What about fun? Let's focus on fun.
Sometimes it's fun to have fun. Somebody throws me a party and surprises me. I'm not ungrateful. I'm like, thank you.
Yeah, Julia, I feel like you're the one being antagonistic.
Now you.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not against you. Stop. You think everybody's against you?
They work my last nerve. Julia has had to put up with these people. And I say put up because it's not a pleasant situation. I'm big on family. I think that family is important. But I think that there's a time and place for everything. You have your home and I have mine. If you need you time, I'm not just gonna keep coming uninvited. I think that that's important to be said because, again, it's not that Julia doesn't want them around. It's that when they come around, they kind of have this relationship that they think that they have to parent Brandon and Julia. And these are adults in a marriage. And I feel like because they never let Brandon fully grow up, and Brandon is stuck to the mom's titty, they think that Julia needs to fall in line in the same way. And it's not okay. So this man calls Julia ungrateful, and Julia's like, and so Betty then decides to make this moment about herself, which was the whole point, right? She didn't want Julia's parents to have her bedroom in their house, right? No. So now she's going to make a dramatic exit. Her parents don't know what's going on. So now then Ron follows her and then Brandon follows them. Brandon, this is like his first time having his in-laws in his own home. And he decides that he's going to run after his parents and go with them to their hotel. And it's what I was saying, that Brandon and his parents know how to provoke Julia to make her look like the bad guy. I think that this was a plan to sabotage her parents' visit all along. Julia's a control freak when her parents are here, and Brandon just knew it. Brandon, she has had to put up with your parents for 6 years. You should have supported her in the decision that she needs a weekend with her parents, just you guys. But instead, he's like, I hate how Julia's treating my parents. I would never treat her parents like that. But aren't you disrespecting them by leaving them the first night that they're here? Because that's disrespect to me. So he goes. Julia is like, Brandon, don't you dare leave me. Like, are you serious right now? And her mom is even like yelling after him, like, Brandon, don't go. Like, can you imagine? And also, what's crazy about this is that Julia said, my mom wants to be here to check on me, to see if I'm really happy, because Julia doesn't share her life. She doesn't share the downsides, right? And Julia has had to put up with this trio bullying her for X amount of years, and her mom didn't know. And on the first night in their house, her mom is able to witness that. I hope that her mom tears Betty a new one. I really do. I think that this was so foul. And everything that she didn't want happened all because they didn't respect her. And as for Brandon, you need to just get divorced and live at the farm with your parents. You have no business being married. And I am not one bit surprised that Julia doesn't want to sleep with you. Because would you want to sleep with a man that never defends you? A man that lacks a backbone? I wouldn't. And I especially wouldn't want to procreate for that man. All of the things that he wants in this relationship, he's getting in his own way because he doesn't know how to set limits. This was so deeply embarrassing for that family. And I feel so bad for Julia and for the fact that her parents had to witness that. Because again, she's endured that for years away from them. And it's embarrassing to see your parents have to see you in a position where you're so powerless. This isn't about her parents wanting to do something nice, wanting to welcome the new family. No, this is about dominance. And I don't want that to get lost. This was always about control. Betty resents that Julia has put her foot down. Resents it. And Brandon and Ron cannot think for themselves. This is just, wow. Like, I would have divorced him for less. Truly. But that's it for the recap, y'all. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. And I will see you in the next one, which is Hunt for Love, the Tell-All Part 1. Bye.